Creating Connections Podcast, episode number 78. I am Gittimer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musney.
What are your steps? In our previous episode, we talked about 6 facets of your business. And we talked about marketing, sales, performance, planning, production, and operations. And today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the sales side of things.
It's one of our favorite facets to talk about.
It absolutely is. And it's up next.
That was nice and easy.
What are you talking about? This also speaks to a much bigger issue.
Providing personal solutions through understanding people. This is the Creating Connections Podcast with Gittimer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musney.
Welcome back, Creating Connections Podcast, episode number 78. I am Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Vickie Musney.
And we have our 7 steps in the sales process that we're going to go over here today. And through the years, I guess I've done a lot of sales training. Mm-hmm. I've studied a lot of different people.
Just to say, by done sales training, you should specify because you've done a lot of both. You've done a lot of taking sales training and a lot of offering sales training.
Yeah, I've taken sales trainings over the year. I've offered sales trainings over the year. I've studied some of the world's best, Charlie Tremendous Jones and Jeffrey Gittimer and Ben Gay III and Joe Girard and, Zig Ziglar, and the list just goes on and on and on. People I've studied on the sales process side. And so from that standpoint, I've taken that and I've kind of broke it down into 7 steps. Mm-hmm. And 7 steps that fit our events industry. And most couples...
You cover these 7 steps in an 8-hour workshop and even to a degree in a 1-hour seminar. So I know this is a lot to say, let's just hit on all 7 briefly.
Yeah, Vickie's like, let's do all 7 in one episode. I'm like,
yeah, no, we're not going to cover everything, but I think it's important to just lay out a couple of concepts to identify the steps and also to address the fact that you don't always have to hit every step in this order.
Correct.
But yes, this is a very common order, and sometimes everything happens in this order, but sometimes based on personalities or based on other things that are going on in the conversation or the way someone answers a particular question, you might bounce around a little bit, and that's okay. But let's at least cover them very, very briefly so people know.
So the first step is research. Are you researching your client ahead of time? Are you researching your marketplace ahead of time? These are all things you need to understand. Are you researching who your ideal client is ahead of time? Now, a couple of those, researching your ideal client ahead of time, researching your marketplace ahead of time, that comes before the sales cycle really starts.
Yes.
But I touch upon it because I think it's important to know.
It is, and it is part of research in the bigger picture. But I think the part that we connect on the most is that researching your client. When somebody books a meeting with you over the phone and they fill out a web inquiry form and they are coming to a sales meeting with you, and you've got that little window of time between when you get their name and confirm the meeting and when you sit down face-to-face for the first time, whether it's in office or in a coffee shop or over Zoom, it doesn't matter. You usually have, 12 to 24 hours on the short end, sometimes a few days.
Longer, yeah.
And, but you've got some time. So what do you do with that time? And I know for me, the first thing I always did was pop their name and email into Facebook because that's kind of where I live. And I used to feel really creepy about that. And I never wanted to talk about it. And I remember the first time I heard you say, well, they're Googling you. Why shouldn't you Google them? And I kind of went, oh, I feel better now. This is okay. I'm only looking to see what public information is available. I'm not
totally okay.
Investigator or anything creepy.
As long as you're using it to help them versus manipulate them.
Absolutely. That's the difference. And this is, again, where you and I connected on bringing the personality piece into this. Because you can get a lot of clues when you're looking at what people have available publicly. That's a big one right off the bat. Even before, do they have information or are you getting the vibe that they're pretty private to begin with? And then when you see stuff, then of course you can make judgments on that. So I love that piece. And I think a lot of people skip that, unfortunately, but it gives you a foundation. If you kind of have a general idea of who you might be meeting, it gives you an edge up, and you know how you want to guide that conversation.
Okay, we have 4 minutes left for 6 facets.
No.
Or 6 steps, I should say. Seriously, Vickie's like talk the whole time.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
I'm just teasing.
Just do 2 through 6 right now.
Step 2 is connecting. How are you connecting with that client?
We'll read a book on that. We don't have to talk about that.
What are some of the common threads that you have together? 2 questions, super quick. You need to ask for any meeting. You want to ask, how did they hear about you? And I'm not going to go into the whole dissertation about why you're asking that question again, possibly, but that's a question to ask. And number 2, what do they know about you as a company? Mm-hmm. That's another good question to ask. And again, we don't have time to dive into why right now, but those are 2 questions on the connecting side. And then during the connecting side, you're sharing your story with them. Mm-hmm. And then you move into transition to step 3, goals and reality. And then you find out what's their story. What are their goals?
Well, this is such an important step. And even though it doesn't necessarily take very long, sometimes it's just one well-crafted question. And you've started to describe what you can do a little bit. And you want to know what vision they see and how do they plan to get there. That's the big one.
And sometimes their reality happens at the end of the meeting. Mm-hmm. I often get the reality part at the end of the meeting. Well, we're thinking, even last night, the gentleman I spoke with last night, strong referral, brother of a sister that I did the wedding for about 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
And he's like, well, I figured, we're like $6 or $7 grand. And I'm like, okay, that's the venue. That's me. And that might be your church.
That was like their whole budget, not their
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I know the venue, and he's spending $3 to $4 or $5 grand on food, which for some people is very cheap. Up here, that's a little high end, actually, but that's still what it is,
Yeah.
And so the conversation from there was like, you still need a photographer, you still need to talk about videographer, florist, cake, limo, because you're going from 2 different cities, all those kind of things. And
so that's where the next step comes in, though. Once you know what their goal is and where they want to go, that's where you get a chance to showcase what Mitch calls be the expert.
Yes.
Showing who you are, what you know, what you can bring to the table, all the experience that you have, those things that aren't necessarily tangible, but they're experiential, and they're what makes you you.
Yeah. And be the expert is you're giving them 1, maybe 2, but I try to only stick to 1 unique way that you can solve one of their problems they're bringing to you.
Yeah, this is where you have a whole arsenal of things that you could talk about, but you use those things that happened in the connecting phase to kind of figure out in the personalities which 1, maybe 2 stories you want to share to really illustrate how you can solve those problems.
And then you're presenting solutions. Presenting solutions can be stories. It can be solutions to those problems. And then it also transitions presenting solutions into your solutions that you have for their needs, whatever that might be. If it's photography, if it's videography, if it's whatever you're selling, whatever your solution is for that need for them, you're presenting your price, your packages, your offerings, right? Your services, products. So presenting solutions, step 5. Step 6 is overcoming objections. And you need to know that. You need to know how to handle the objections get thrown your way, because every single objection you're going to get boils down to one of 4: need, price, source, or time. And I don't have time to, again, dive into all of them and the specifics of each one right now, but
this is just a brief overview and a reference video. So, but yeah, just knowing that, okay, this is doable. I could handle learning how to handle 4 different things. That is not overwhelming.
No, that's not overwhelming.
Everything that they say and are going to come back at can fit into one of 4 categories. I can do that. And that's what I love about you breaking it down into these steps, is it makes it very approachable for all of us.
It makes it easy. And, my book dives into a lot more detail on this too, or see me at an upcoming seminar and you'll get more information on that too. And then finally, the close. And the close is how you end the conversation with the client. And specifically, what is your follow-up plan?
Well, and I think it's funny that it's often the first and the last step that seem to get skipped. A lot of people skip the research, and then a lot of people seem to drop the ball at the end. And sometimes it's as simple as you just need to ask. You just need to say, so are you ready to start planning?
Here's the thing. I mean, not to get deep again, but here's the thing. The reality is this is probably one of the first times they've looked for your services or product as an event professional that you are. And they don't do this every day.
Nope.
But if you have gone through all the steps and you've determined you're a right fit for them and you can deliver exactly what they want, I would argue you're doing them a disservice by not asking for the business.
No, make
they
it
don't
easy
do this
for
every
them.
day. They don't know what to do next.
Take the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
And then
Take
if they
the pressure off of them.
And then at that point, if they do come back with another objection, then you can carry the conversation on a different way, or you can create that follow-up plan if they do really need more time to think about it. Because some personalities do. And regardless of personality, this is a big decision. If you're asking people to spend, $1,000 or several $1,000s, they don't be offended if they say, I need to think about it for a couple of days. Yeah. That's a big commitment. And so, but then it's on you to have a plan.
But also understand where they're at. Mm-hmm. You need to know where they're at. So
a lot of people reading skills come in very handy in this process.
Absolutely. And if you don't continue the conversation somehow after an objection, then you miss an opportunity to provide another solution.
Absolutely.
And that's a huge thing that people don't get. They hear an objection and they don't want it. That may not be the case.
Nope.
You may just need to figure out a way to help them with an alternate solution to a problem they have.
Yep.
It's okay. So those are the 7 steps in the sales process.
Very briefly. See, we could do it in one episode.
In about 15 minutes or so. I'm Gittimer Certified Advisor, Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Certified Personality Trainer, Vickie Musney.
Do you want to hear more of these steps laid out? We're going to cover a little bit of this upcoming at Wedding MBA. Join me at the Las Vegas Convention Center. I'll be speaking on Wednesday, a seminar titled You Can't Handle the Truth. And it's 5 truths to finding a few good brides.
And then if you want the full seminar version, mark your calendars for next March at Mobile Beat in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And Mitch will be delivering the full seminar on
full seminar on sales for event pros. Yep. Rocking through every single step for you, breaking it down every single step, giving you the questions to ask at each step of the process to move forward to a successful sale. And we're looking forward to that. Being on stage again with a mentor of mine, Jeffrey Gittimer, is going to be huge. I can't wait to.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait to be there with Jeffrey and hang out a little bit and chat and be a part of that bill with Jeffrey. So looking forward to that. Check us out at creatingconnections.biz, mobilebeatlasvegas.com to get your tickets for Mobile Beat. Be sure to get your tickets soon because prices are going to go up soon again. Yeah. And weddingmba.com is the other site you could find us on. So thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Creating Connections podcast with Gittimer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musney. For more information on providing personal solutions through understanding people better, visit creatingconnections.biz.